Jimmy Isaac Ayobami, and I'll be taking you through a machine learning project that I just developed using Python. So I'm going to launch my Jupyter notebook right now, where we can take a view of the project. So the project itself is to run a machine learning prediction that can determine the score of a student based on the number of hours the student has spent studying. So in carrying out this task, basically, we are going to be using a linear regression model from sklearn module. Uh, so the first step is to import all the necessary libraries we are going to use, which includes pandas, numpy, matplotlib, seaborn, sklearn, uh, and so on and so forth. So we are going to run the libraries into our Jupyter notebook. This could take some few seconds or minutes. Okay, so we'll go ahead, we load our data into our Jupyter notebook. The data has already been downloaded into my drive, so I'm loading it directly from my drive. Then I'm going to look at random samples from the data, which is why I have df.sample, which is giving me 5 random samples. So these are the 5 random samples. Then after that, I'm going to carry out some basic data exploration just to get an insight from our data. So we are going to use the pandas.describe function. Then I try to transpose it so that we can have a better view of the data. So when we look at data, we have a total count of variable which is 25. Then for the hours, the mean value is 5.012, while the mean score is 551.480. And if we look at our standard deviation, our standard deviation is around 2.52. Then we also have our mean, which is 1.1. Then the maximum, which is 9.2 for hours. Then for the score, we have a minimum of 17.0 and a maximum of 95.0. So generally, the data is less prone to outliers, which is very good for model. So which means our data can be inputted into the model. And after that, we can now look at the correlation between the two data points, which is the score and the hour. And using a line plot from seaborn, we see that there is a a kind of straight line passing through all the data points. But to visualize it better, I try to make use of the pandas plot function, which did a scatter plot of the score against the hour. Then we can see that this shows that there is a correlation, a positive correlation between the score and the hour. Then we also check for the presence of outliers in our data, and from what we have, it shows that our data is not prone to outliers. And after that, we need to now train our linear regression model. So for us to do that, we have to divide the data into the independent and dependent variable. So our x here is our independent variable and the y is the dependent variable, which is what we want to predict. So we are predicting the score. Then after that, I splitted the data into the train and test set. Then we build the model, which is the linear model, which is a linear model from sklearn. Then we also fit the model to our train data set. Then after that, we run a prediction on the X test, and we see that on the X test we have a we have an accuracy of 0.75 and a mean square error of 67.20. So which means on an average, our our model is not performing too bad, then given a new value which is 9.25, we can now predict what will be the score given a 9.25 hours of study. Then when we run that, we have 89.94. Well, I hope with this you are able to quite understand the process through which I've taken to build this linear regression model. Thank you.